Hello students, this is Nikhat teaching English in class 4 and today we'll be doing chapter 4 unit 4 Alice in Wonderland. So let's get started. Children, Alice in Wonderland is based on a real 10-year-old girl. Her name was Alice Little. Her family was close friends with the author Lewis Carroll. While on a boat trip once, she asked him to tell her a story, and that's how Alice was born. Now let's start reading. One day, Alice was lying under a tree, listening to her sister reading a story. Suddenly, she saw a white rabbit scamper by. He had pink eyes and was wearing a blue coat. He took out a big watch from his waistcoat pocket. As he hurried away, he said, "Oh dear, I will be too late." She thought there was something very different about this rabbit. It could talk, it wore a red waistcoat, and it carried a watch. So children, Alice and her sister were lying under a tree, and her sister was reading a story and Alice was listening to her sister. All of a sudden, she saw a white rabbit hopping there. And that rabbit was wearing a blue coat and had a big watch. And suddenly it spoke. "Oh dear, I will be too late." Now let's see what happens further. Alice wondered, a talking rabbit? A rabbit who wears a waistcoat? Alice was burning with curiosity, and she followed the white rabbit. So children, Alice was amazed to see the white rabbit and she wanted to know more about it. So she followed the rabbit. Now let's see what happens next. The rabbit started running and Alice followed the rabbit. The rabbit suddenly popped down a large rabbit hole. Alice jumped into the rabbit hole too. The rabbit went down and down and down into the rabbit hole. Alice said aloud, "Where am I? How many miles down have I fallen? I must be getting somewhere near the center of the earth." So children, the rabbit started running and Alice also ran after it. And suddenly it jumped into a large rabbit hole. Alice followed it and jumped too. The hole was very deep and they both just went down and down and down. Alice tried to ask the rabbit that how deep has she got into and where will she reach. Now let's see what happens next. She wondered, will I slip through the other side? Thump! Alice landed on a pile of dry leaves. She looked around quickly and suddenly saw the white rabbit again. It disappeared saying, "Oh my ears and whiskers, how late it's getting." Alice stood up and saw a small door about 15 inches high. So children, she thought that she might slip to the other side of the earth, and then she landed on a pile of dry leaves with a loud sound of thump. She quickly looked here and there and she saw the rabbit again, and it vanished saying that it is very late. Alice got up and saw a small door of about 15 inches. Now let's see what happens next. It was too small for her to go through. She saw a glass table with a golden key on it. She tried the little golden key in the lock, and to her delight, it fitted. Alice opened the door and looked into the loveliest garden she had ever seen. How she longed to be among those beds of bright flowers and those cool fountains, but she could not even get her head through the doorway. "Oh, how I wish I could become smaller," she exclaimed loudly. So children, the gate was too small for Alice to get in. She saw there was a glass table and on that table was a golden key. She tried to open the small door with that key, and to her surprise, the gate opened, and towards the other side of the gate was the most beautiful garden Alice had ever seen. She was very desperate to go into the garden and enjoy herself, but she was too big, and then she said loudly, "I wish I could become smaller." So children, here the story ends, and now we are going to discuss the grammar homework which I gave you in the PDF last time. So let's begin. The first exercise was to underline the common nouns and circle the proper nouns. The first two were already done for you. The third one is he rides bicycle very carefully. Here children, he is a pronoun, so we will not underline or circle it. Bicycle is common noun. In the fourth sentence, Laura looked at the sea for hours. Laura is the proper noun and sea is common noun. The fifth sentence is Pranav and his friends chased the robber. Pranav is the proper noun. Friends and robbers is a common noun. Now let's move to the next exercise children. Here you had to complete the phrases with the collective nouns and you were being given the clues. The first two were already done. Now let's start with the third one. The third one is a chest of drawers. The fourth one is a gang of thieves. Fifth is a bunch of grapes. Sixth one is a flock of sheep. Seventh is a litter of puppies. Eighth is a troop of soldiers. Ninth is a bouquet of flowers, and the 10th one is a pack of cards. The third exercise says to fill in the blanks with the suitable abstract nouns with the help of the words given. So let's start. The first two were already done children. The third one is I have great pleasure to welcome you. The fourth one is, as the sun went below the horizon, darkness enveloped the planet. The fifth one is, wastage should always be avoided. So that's it children. Children, stay home, stay safe, goodbye.